Hi everyone, and welcome to the third session in Boma's Online Marketing Made Easy webinar series. For anyone who missed the previous few sessions, we've been working our way through the steps needed to construct a robust marketing platform. And we're going to be doing that over the next 5 weeks as we continue the journey. So for anyone who did miss it, the first one in general, we talked about marketing concepts, so building a strong foundation for your business. And the first one we covered was how to construct a brand for your business, not just a logo. And obviously in today's one, we're going to be talking about the next stage, which is getting a great website for your business. My name is Charles Clark. I look after marketing here at Boma. And it's my real pleasure to welcome Grant Johnson from Rocket Spark today with us. Hi, Grant.
Hello, thank you, Charles. Hi, everyone.
So Grant's a co-founder of Rocket Spark, and they won Xero's Add-on Innovation Award in 2015 for their beautifully simple to use website builder. It's quite an amazing piece of kit. If you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend taking a look at it. Now, Rocket Spark work with a variety of businesses across the world, but they also have a particular expertise in the accounting and bookkeeping space. And I think, Grant, if I had this right, you were actually an accountant in a previous life.
Yeah, my first role out of university was actually an accountant.
Yeah, well, I think that's fantastic because we have a lot of accountants and bookkeepers with us today. So without further ado, I'll hand over to you because I know we're only short on time. But looking forward to hearing your insights.
Great, thanks, Charles. Hi, everyone. Great to have you joining us in the webinar today. And as Charles says, we've helped a large number of businesses to get online, and through that process, we've learned a lot about what makes an effective website. And we've learned a lot through seeing what our customers do, our clients do, and also through our own research. And we're always sort of really happy to share that expertise out. And today I'm going to take you through sort of the essentials of an effective website. And in particular, we're going to focus very much on the homepage. And in a later class next week, will be more about how to get found. But today is about once people arrive at your site, sort of what are the really important essentials. And what we're finding is that if our clients or people do the basics well, they can be really successful. So just by focusing on the basics and doing those few things very well. So you'll find today as we go through, it'll actually be quite quick, quite rapid fire, but hopefully very simple concepts. And it's kind of content that we've shared in a number of places around the world, and hopefully it's really useful for you. In terms of focusing on the home page, there's an interesting study by a university, Carleton University in Canada, where they flashed up a website homepage in front of people, and what they worked out was that it took 0.03 seconds to get a first impression of a website, and then they gave people more time to look at those websites, and their first impression didn't really change. And so that's why having the website homepage, it is really important. So in terms of, as we work through sort of the essentials of an effective website, one of the first, which is really simple, is say what you do, make it really clear what it is that you do, so that when someone arrives at your website, they can see they've arrived at the right place. People spend very little time on a website, especially when they're moving through and doing their initial research. And so here you can see one of our accounting clients, just affordable professional accounting. It's like their 3-second pitch. Think about what could you tell me in sort of 3 to 5 seconds about your business, about your firm, your practice, that would help me to understand business. It's a good way to practice your pitch with other people. And you see so many websites, they'll say, welcome to my website, but that's just precious time and real estate that's been used up to say welcome. It sounds friendly, but it's not actually telling people on that sort of initial exploratory stage about what you do. The next one is show people why they should choose you. So many websites, they'll say, this is what we do this and that, and these are the services and what they do. But why is it that I should choose your business? What is it that you do better? And here again is an example taken from Accounted For as an example, where for them it's about the expertise of the team. So you can see there they've got 9 chartered accountants, 18 0 certifications, 60 years in business. That can be kind of one area. It can be the qualifications and accreditations. So if you're a Xero partner and you've got the Xero Gold or Xero Silver, you're Xero certified, showing those banners there. Another really effective way is actually let other people tell people why they should choose you. So having testimonials very clear on your homepage can be a really powerful way of showing people why they should choose you, because it's what other people have to say. And where possible, include a picture of the person providing that testimonial. We've got a really great blog actually about the importance of testimonials and what makes a good testimonial, but there's some quite good science around having a picture there. And maybe reviews and ratings. So if you're inviting clients to rate you, is actually sharing those ratings on your website. Okay, the next one is actually to make your website visually appealing. So if when someone arrives at your website and they're only there for sort of 0.03 seconds in terms of getting that first impression, it's making that website visually appealing. And actually, Charles, if we could to just open up a browser page and just go to a website. I'm not sure if I can do that from here, and just share just the web page. And I'll just work through an actual practical, just very quick, just a few key highlights. And this website, which is Walsh Accounting, walsh-accounting.com, is actually a site designed by a partner of ours, the Profitable Firm, and they've got some really nice examples of what makes a visually appealing website.
Is that coming through?
Actually, no. Actually, it's okay. We can actually draw from the picture there. There's enough to show. So if we go back to full screen, that's actually okay. It was something actually I should have tested beforehand. Sorry, Charles. Okay, so if we look at this site, the first thing you see is actually they've got a really nice logo. So you can see it creates that great impression when you first arrive. So they've invested in a logo, and it's the first impression, one of the first things you see. Having a really nice engaging image right at the top is also just a really simple way of engaging people visually into the site. As you look further down on that image, they've started to use icons, and as we go to the next page, we'll be able to see more. But they've just broken up the site into bite-sized chunks of content, and quite cleverly just use some subtle details of their logo within that banner of their site. And if I go to the next, I'll just jump down to here, we can see a bit more. It's just nice and digestible, and they've actually got a video here, and a video is also a very, very nice way of making a website visually appealing. Okay, and so the next one in terms of our essentials for an effective website is having a clear call to action. So what is it that when someone arrives at your website, what is it that you want them to do? So it might be that you actually just want them to pick up the phone and make a call. So make that very clear. In the example of Walsh Accounting, Xero is a real key strength for them. And so right from their homepage, they're saying learn about Xero, and taking someone from the homepage deeper into the site. If we look at the example of Accounted For, we can see it's about making an initial consultation with Christine, the business manager. So, it's about, hey, come and talk to me. I'll then put you in the right direction of who you need to talk to. But for both websites, there's a really clear call to action. People may not be ready to call straight away from the homepage, so having a call to action that maybe introduces to the team, sees the services, and so on. And it's okay to have a few different calls to action as people go down the page. They may be looking for different things when they come to your website. The next one is don't be text heavy. And so again, going back to that example we touched on before, it's broken down into bite-sized chunks of text. And if you've ever had the pleasure of a Spanish tapas meal, you can, you'll have a taste and see if you like it, and there's lots of little tasty bites, and that's very much, I think, a great homepage will have sort of little samples of content that will draw you into the site and really help you with the things that you're looking for. And from a search engine perspective, which Harvey will touch on next week, content is still very, very important. And as you're out and using your Boma marketing and drawing people into your site, having content on your site is still very important. And that's where your blog is really key for having a good body of content on your website. So when it comes to your blog, go to town, have lots of words. And I think I've read that a blog that's a 7-minute read is actually about an optimal size. It's comes down more to the quality of the content, but it's okay to have lots of text, but just see how on the site it's broken down into nice little bite-sized chunks, so you're not reading big screeds of content. The next one is be mobile friendly, and I think it was about April 2015, it actually became a ranking factor in terms of your search ranking. So Google, they want people to keep using Google, and they want people to have a great experience when they go from Google to websites. And so they actually made a priority for mobile. So if everything else was equal between two websites, the mobile site would actually rank better than a site that wasn't mobile optimized. And all good kind of modern website platforms, or if you're getting something bespoke made, it should just be something that they do as standard within their offering. But it's still good to check, because sometimes it's an extra service if you're getting something bespoke made, but it is really important. And we've also seen it that when people go from having not a mobile website to having a mobile friendly website, the time that people spend on the site increases, and the number of pages that people view. And it's quite simple. If it's just made for a big thumb to move around the website, people are going to stay there longer. It's quite simple, but it's important to bear in mind that it is also important for your search engine rankings as well.
I think that's a good point, actually, Grant, in terms of how people consume media these days. And the majority now of searches are tending to be done on mobile devices. So I think, as you say, if you want people to be able to find you at any time, they could be watching TV or sort of have a few minutes on a commute, and if they can find you online and then have a great experience, rather than having to only when they're in front of their laptop or their desktop at the office, then being able to look for you, that really it minimizes the amount of times that you can be seen. And if that's the experience they have from the first off, that they're easy to find, that just, I suppose, sets a nice standard and a nice bar, so that they think, okay, well, these guys are great, they're easy to use, they have good technology. And obviously, if you're, most businesses, especially accounting businesses these days with cloud technology, I would say that their clients want to know that you know what you're doing when it comes to kind of those types of technologies. And it really starts with your website, which is your sort of online storefront from that perspective.
Yeah, and in professional services, like say, when for us finding, and we have a company in the UK and in New Zealand, and finding an accountant, it was through word of mouth. Who do you recommend? I might be out and about and I'm mobile, and it's like, hey, who do you recommend? And then you're on your phone looking up that person. And we've seen sort of a few clients, or actually quite a few clients, have shared their Google Analytics, their website traffic reporting with us, and we can see, like, sort of, if it's kind of quite logical, but say someone that's in a tourism sector will have a really high percentage of mobile traffic, the health, the hospitality sector. But then even in sort of professional services and sort of hair and beauty, that sort of area, it's still really high, the percentage. So it's kind of like you're really chopping out probably as the minimum maybe 30% of your traffic and visitors and search potential if you're not mobile. And that's, and as you move into different sectors, it can be even higher than that. Yeah. So yeah, really important.
Yeah, I actually saw a recent stat said that 81% of people, clients of professional services, even though they got a word of mouth referral, 81% would still look at the website as their first port of call. So even when you're so strongly recommended, the first thing that 4 out of 5 people will do is check out your website. So, it really has to, put your firm or practice or business forward in the best way that you possibly can.
We did an interesting study actually where we asked people, so Google have this survey feature where you can go out and just ask kind of out on the wider internet a survey, and we actually asked people that it was in the trades area, would you have a tradesperson in your home if they didn't have a website? And it was interesting actually, it was something like 30% wouldn't, and as the people were either younger or female, that the percentage was even much higher. So just actually having a web presence. But I guess the fact that you're here on this webinar, I guess you've probably got a pretty good idea that a web presence is important. But the next one is just have a robust platform. It probably sounds like a pitch for Rocket Spark. You're probably hitting the exit button, but it's definitely not. It's just kind of making sure that you're actually on a platform that actually works well. So one of the key ones for your search rankings is actually having good speed. So just checking in with your web company where your website's hosted, doing a speed test. There's a service called Pingdom where you can do a speed test, making sure that that's working okay, making sure that it's search engine friendly, and that's again a good question to put to your website provider is ask them, because as a non-technical person it can be hard to understand kind of how good the platform is, and probably just making sure that it's easy to use so you actually do it. Google love fresh content. Your visitors also like to see that things are up to date and new, and if it's difficult to use, you're probably less likely to keep it up to date. So yeah, that's kind of the essentials there in terms of an effective website.
Well, I mean, the great thing, Grant, and thank you so much for taking us through, is that we've sort of broken it down into really the 6 or 7 steps that you can do to, as a first port of call. Obviously, as Grant said, we could probably do 2 or 3 sessions just on this one subject alone. But I think that's a really clear, if you sort of had to look at your website and say, does it do these 7 things? And if it only did a couple of them, then you might think about, we definitely need to be looking at how we can improve them. Because obviously when people look at your website, if it is effective, you have clear calls to action, it's a pleasant experience, they're more likely to pick up that phone or send you an email, get in contact, and become a lead and hopefully a customer. And that's obviously what having an effective website is all about, is taking people who are searching for a service, or maybe word of mouth, and then allowing them to connect with you, and hopefully then start to build that relationship all the way through to where they become hopefully a client, so you can keep on growing your business.
And I guess for the accountants and bookkeepers online, those that are providing a service to others, it's just a really simple audit, I guess, kind of using an accounting term, but a really simple checklist that you can actually run through with your clients is, sort of here's 7 things, tick them off, and at least when they're getting that traffic to their homepage, it's going to give them a greater chance of turning that into actual business. So yeah, hopefully that's really helpful. Also check it out, rocketspark.com/roadmap is where we've got this content if you want to sort of go into it a bit more detail.
Fantastic. Great. Okay, well, I'll just quickly go to the end because we do just have a quick overview of what's coming up in the next 5 weeks. So next Thursday, we're joined by Harvey Kane, who's also one of the key developers at Rocket Spark, and he knows everything about SEO, so search engine optimization. So it sounds technical, but what it's really all about is how do I get people to find me, to find my website, to find my business online. So Grant touched on a few of the elements during this talk, and then next week we're going to go into a little bit more detail just to really help you understand, I suppose, how you can optimize certain elements, also what you can do in terms of content, blogging, and things like that, which all help to move you up the Google search rankings, which then makes it more likely for people to find you. So brilliant. Thanks again, Grant. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next week.